There's a quiet tragedy that plays out in almost every man's life. He meets a woman. He likes her. He treats her well, maybe better than anyone else has. He listens. He gives. He tries. And somehow, the harder he tries, the faster she loses interest. She stops replying as much. She's suddenly busy. Then one day she says, "You're such a great guy, but something's missing." And he's left wondering, how can kindness push someone away? It's one of the most painful confusions a man can experience, doing everything right and still losing her respect. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not your kindness that turns her off. It's what's hiding underneath your kindness, the quiet, desperate need to be liked. The paradox of attraction. The more you try to make a woman happy, the less happy she becomes. It sounds cruel, even unfair, but it's psychology. Attraction doesn't grow from comfort. It grows from tension, from that feeling of mystery, uncertainty, and challenge that forces her emotions to come alive. When a man is too accommodating, too predictable, too eager to please, he becomes emotionally transparent. There's no tension, no polarity, and without that, attraction flatlines. Here's the paradox. You think you're showing love, but what she feels is emotional hunger. And emotional hunger repels the very love you're chasing. Emotional hunger versus emotional strength. There's a difference between giving from fullness and giving from emptiness. One comes from strength, from a man who's already grounded in who he is. The other comes from weakness, from a man who needs her reaction to feel worthy. Most nice guys give from emptiness. They're not being nice because it's who they are. They're being nice because they want something back, affection, validation, or approval. And women can sense that instantly, not because they're manipulative, but because emotional energy doesn't lie. When you're giving out of fear, you stop being a man she can respect and start being a man she has to manage. The first truth, respect, is born from boundaries. Respect doesn't come from what you give, it comes from what you don't give away too easily. If every time she calls, you answer, if every time she flakes, you forgive, if every time she's cold, you compensate by being warmer, you're teaching her one thing, that your attention is cheap. A man who values himself doesn't sell his time and energy for approval. He offers it like a gift, not a plea. Because boundaries are not walls. They're signals of self-respect. And nothing is more magnetic than a man who respects himself enough to say no. The second truth, neediness is emotional gravity in reverse. When a man is needy, he loses his center. He starts orbiting around the woman instead of his purpose. Every text becomes a test. Every silence feels like rejection. He starts thinking, did I say something wrong? Why hasn't she replied? What can I do to fix this? That mental spiral, that loss of internal gravity, is exactly what kills attraction. Because feminine energy is drawn to stability. When you lose yours, she loses trust in your strength. Not because she's cruel, but because on a primal level, she feels unsafe in your uncertainty. The third truth, you can't earn love through effort. Nice guys believe love is transactional. If I'm good enough, kind enough, patient enough, she'll love me. But attraction isn't a negotiation. It's an instinct. You can't logic or effort your way into someone's heart. The more you try to prove your worth, the more you signal that you don't believe you have it. And the human mind, especially the feminine mind, mirrors what it perceives. If you act like you're not enough, she'll start to believe it too. So you can't earn love by performing for it. You can only attract it by becoming it. The difference between a nice guy and a good man. A nice guy is agreeable. A good man is grounded. A nice guy avoids conflict. A good man embraces it when necessary. A nice guy gives to be liked. A good man gives because he's already secure within himself. A nice guy is shaped by how others see him. A good man is shaped by his principles. The difference is subtle but powerful. One is driven by fear, the other by purpose. Women don't lose respect for kindness, they lose respect for fear disguised as kindness. The core psychology of attraction. Attraction is not built on comfort. It's built on emotional polarity. Masculine and feminine energy thrive in contrast. Stability versus spontaneity. Direction versus emotion. Logic versus feeling. When a man becomes overly compliant, he collapses that polarity. He starts mirroring her emotions instead of anchoring them. He becomes more reactive, less decisive, less masculine. And subconsciously, she begins to test him, not because she's cruel, but because she's seeking that lost polarity. She wants to feel his strength again, not through aggression, but through calm certainty. If he breaks under those tests, she can no longer trust him emotionally. And where there's no trust, attraction fades. Scarcity creates value. In the modern world, where everyone is connected 24/7, true scarcity is rare. Attention has become the cheapest currency. Everyone's giving it away, hoping for something in return. But a man who holds back, who gives selectively, who protects his time and focus, becomes valuable by default. Not because he's playing games, but because his energy carries weight. He's not rushing to respond. He's not chasing validation. He's busy being a man of substance. And that, ironically, is the type of man who ends up being pursued. The masculine path forward. So, how do you change this? How do you stop being the nice guy without turning into a cold, emotionless jerk? It starts with this shift. Stop seeking connection to fill your emptiness. Start building a life so fulfilling that connection becomes a bonus, not a necessity. Work on your discipline, your mission, your peace. Because when you have internal abundance, you give naturally, not manipulatively. You don't need her to validate you. Your actions and purpose already do. The final truth. Respect is a mirror. Women don't respect men who don't respect themselves. They can sense when your self-worth depends on their approval. If you want her respect and attraction, you must first master emotional independence. That means not reacting to every shift in her tone, not overanalyzing every silence, not collapsing every time things feel uncertain. Because real strength isn't loud. It's quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need validation, yet commands it naturally. The closing reflection. You don't lose women because you're too kind. You lose them because your kindness hides a quiet fear. The fear of being alone, of not being chosen, of not being enough. But the moment you stop chasing and start being, everything changes. When you love without attachment, when you give without expectation, when you walk away when respect disappears, you stop being the nice guy and become a strong man with a soft heart. And that combination of grounded strength and emotional depth is what creates lasting respect, desire, and love. So stop trying to make her like you. Start becoming someone you respect. Because when you do, everyone else starts to follow.